welcome to the Clashing of Steel. And today I'm talking about update 3.1.4. I wasn't planning to actually make this video, but there were some interesting changes that needed attention. I was actually planning for another video comparing Vengeance to Ad Portas, but I just couldn't overlook these changes. This patch also brings new tier 3 premium units for each faction. Every one of them seems to cost around 950 gold and can be great if you want to be that annoying guy on low tiers grinding yourself some free experience or convertible experience. There will also be a new performance tool when you start the game, and you can choose your resolution, graphics and so. Perhaps one of the more interesting changes is the ability animation improvements. Basically, some commander abilities, consumables and unit abilities will have visual effects. As an example, if you would use the Miltiades Sphere, the spearmen might be yelling, they might be screaming, cheering, something like that, some visual effect to show us what the skill is actually doing. There is a long list of skills, abilities, consumables that will have this effect. So if you want to know about all of them, you can check them out in the patch notes. There will also be an interesting change in the currency conversion menu. So if you want to convert your unit experience with gold into free experience, you will now have options to choose premium units, fully upgraded units or other units, giving you a greater chance to find what you are looking for and where you want to take that experience from. Another interesting UI change that might actually help the new players is the post-tutorial commander selection, which now tries to explain a bit more of how difficult the commander is, what its skills are, what is its speciality, and what are its abilities. So now on to the most important changes. Starting with the Commander Arminius's infiltration cooldown reduction. So the cooldown of the infiltration was ridiculously high, 280 seconds. So they reduced it to 180. This was and probably still is one of the hardest skills to use successfully. This patch also brings several important unit changes, starting with the light artillery, which will get an increased reload speed by 1 second. This change actually isn't that brutal. It was just to reduce the staggers and the damage output of the light artillery. But the next change is a lot more interesting. The spearman bonus versus cavalry will be cut in half, meaning the cavalry won't die as brutally as it did before. This change was more important on the Greek side, which spears could destroy cavalry really fast. And another interesting change will be to the Folksmen. Many players probably knew about this coming already. They will get around 10% damage increase. Also, tier 5 and tier 10 unit skills will get changed to teach new players that Folkses aren't exactly struggle match infantry. And another very important change is can't use when in melee. This is for all focus fire abilities, and it is really important. It probably should have taken place long ago, because if you engage 3, let's say, ranged units with single unit of cavalry, you manage to keep them all engaged, and yet they might focus fire you down. Now that it can't be done, it is an excellent change for the balance and to keep ranged units from using anything ranged in melee combat. And for the last, some barbarian consumables got a bit upgraded. Intoxicate, which was an excellent consumable, so to say. But the downside would be that your unit takes too much damage from the intoxication and actually will be easier for the opponents to finish off, although you get some damage bonus. So that damage you get inflicted while intoxicated was cut in half. Still not sure it would be such a great consumable, but at least it has some potential. The consumable Varnished Heads also got a small boost. It reduces the opponent's melee attack by minus 30%. Previously it was minus 14, but well, I'm not saying it is an incredible consumable, but it is still more viable with the upgraded version than it was before. And the last consumable, dirt pouches, which actually now seems to have a lot of potential. It was a really weak consumable, which might actually now be one of the strongest, especially if you're playing Falksman. It used to give opponents around you minus 14 melee defense, minus 14% that is, and now it should give minus 50%. It should last around 10 seconds, but if you use strikes and everything in between, this might actually be something that can help you destroy your opponents a lot faster. This patch brought a lot of important changes. Damage reduction to cavalry from the spears, cooldown reduction to Arminius' infiltration, no more focus fire in melee combat, increased light artillery reload time, and newly improved consumables for the barbarians. A lot of important and vital changes during this patch. Most of them seem to be really important and vital for the game balance. Especially the spearman damage versus the cavalry. The cavalry pretty much gets annihilated by spears every time. Hopefully this will help some of these new or not yet focused cavalry players to manage themselves better. So this was pretty much it. Many important changes and a lot we should now know. I was not planning to make so many videos, or at least so often this week, but these changes are something that a lot of us should know and should pay attention to. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe and thanks for watching.